In the remote reaches of Polynesia, beauty came with cost. Some islands, like Rapa Nui, held a promise of abundance. Lush forests, thriving seabirds, rich volcanic soil. But over time, that balance faltered. As populations grew and trees fell to make room for crops, to build homes and massive stone monuments, the environment began to change. Deforestation stripped the land of its protection. Birds vanished. Soil eroded. Water became scarce. Islanders, once masters of sustainable living, now faced scarcity. Competition over what little remained led to conflict, division, sometimes collapse. But their resilience was unyielding. On smaller islands, communities downsized, reorganized, and adapted new techniques for survival. Fishing intensified, gardens shrank, and sacred groves were preserved. Isolation deepened, not just geographically, but culturally. Long-distance voyages ceased. Each island became its own world. And yet, the memory of voyaging ancestors remained. Oral histories, stone carvings, and ritual chants preserve the story of those who came before, and the warnings of what happens when balance with nature is lost. The Polynesian spirit endured, even in silence. As Polynesian societies expanded, the growing population placed increasing strain on limited natural resources, often sparking tension and conflict. On smaller or ecologically fragile islands, clans competed fiercely for control over fertile land, productive fishing grounds, and precious fresh water. These pressures sometimes erupted into intertribal warfare, which fractured communities and disturbed long-standing social cohesion. In response, villages built defensive fortifications, and warriors engaged in sacred rituals, adorning themselves with traditional tattoos that symbolized strength, identity, and divine protection. Yet, even in times of turmoil, the spiritual and cultural foundations of Polynesian life remained intact. Oral histories, myths, and genealogies were passed down with reverence, preserving ancestral wisdom and reinforcing shared identity. These enduring traditions served not only as a moral compass, but also as a source of unity and resilience. The legacy of these struggles highlights how adaptation, cultural strength, and deep communal bonds enabled Polynesian societies to endure and thrive amid isolation and environmental limits. Some Polynesian societies faced profound challenges that ultimately led to their decline or even collapse. One of the most striking examples is Rapa Nui, or Easter Island, a once thriving culture known for its monumental Moai statues and sophisticated society. Over centuries, extensive deforestation devastated the island's fragile ecosystem. As the forests vanished, vital resources disappeared. Trees once used for building, transport, and fuel were gone. Without them, soil erosion worsened, agricultural yields plummeted, and freshwater sources diminished. The loss of food security led to intense social unrest, conflict, and a dramatic population decline. This environmental unraveling reveals how even the most resourceful and adaptable peoples were vulnerable when nature's balance was disrupted. Yet, the legacy of Rapa Nui endures. Through oral histories and cultural memory, the lessons of stewardship resilience, and the consequences of overexploitation have been preserved, offering powerful insights for our modern world and a warning not to take nature for granted. As environmental pressures and social challenges intensified, the once vibrant network of long-distance voyaging across the vast Pacific began to wane. The great Polynesian canoes, once symbols of daring exploration and inter-island connection, sailed less frequently between distant shores. Faced with dwindling resources and growing demands at home, many island communities turned inward, shifting their focus from exploration to survival. As voyaging slowed, the exchange of goods, people, technologies, and ideas gradually diminished. This growing isolation allowed each island society to evolve its own distinct cultural identity, enriched with local innovations and traditions. Yet it also meant that shared knowledge spread more slowly, and the bonds between far-flung communities across the Polynesian Triangle weakened. Still, the legacy of those incredible journeys endured. Through oral histories, chants, and navigation lore passed from generation to generation, the spirit of exploration lived on, waiting for the time when the ocean paths would once again be followed. As long-distance ocean voyages became increasingly rare, Polynesian island communities entered a new chapter, one defined by resilience, self-reliance, and deep adaptation. With fewer opportunities to trade or connect across vast ocean distances, each island focused inward, learning to sustain itself using the resources at hand. Skilled farmers cultivated the rich volcanic soils and carefully managed ecosystems, growing staple crops like taro, yam, and breadfruit in intricate terrace systems and garden plots. Fishermen honed their techniques in both reef and open ocean waters, designing specialized tools, canoes, and nets uniquely suited to their environments. Village artisans preserved and refined time-honored crafts, wood carving, weaving, and tool making, carried on through generations. Social structures evolved in complexity, with chiefs and elders guiding land use, labor, and ceremonial life, all deeply rooted in reverence for the land and sea. Though more isolated, these island societies flourished through adaptive knowledge and an unyielding cultural spirit. During times of isolation and profound change, Polynesian communities turned to the strength of oral traditions to safeguard their history, culture, and ancestral wisdom. In the absence of a written language, the spoken word became sacred. Elders held the role of living libraries, revered as storytellers, teachers, and guardians of collective memory. Through rhythmic chants, genealogies, and epic tales of legendary navigators, they ensured that the knowledge of distant homelands, ancient migrations, and heroic feats endured. These oral histories carried vital teachings about wayfinding, environmental care, social harmony, and survival. Accompanying the stories were star maps, memorized through chants and navigational songs, used to traverse the vast Pacific with remarkable accuracy. This living tradition, preserved with precision and reverence, became the foundation of identity. It bound communities together, linking generations across time and space, and across thousands of miles of open ocean through a shared memory and unbroken connection to their ancestors. Despite enduring profound challenges, waves of disease, colonization, and social upheaval, Polynesian communities demonstrated extraordinary resilience. Their languages endured, spoken in homes, sung in ceremonies, and eventually taught in schools, anchoring identity through generations. Rituals, chants, and dances remained central to communal life, acting as living vessels for cultural memory and ancestral wisdom. Even in the face of disruption, elders passed down sacred protocols and teachings, guiding younger generations in the ways of their ancestors. This deep-rooted cultural strength formed the backbone of powerful revival movements in the 20th century. Across the Pacific, Polynesian peoples began to reclaim their languages, revive ancient navigation techniques, and reinvigorate long-held traditions. These efforts were more than acts of preservation. They were bold affirmations of identity. By honoring the past while stepping confidently into the future, Polynesian communities asserted their enduring presence and their rightful place in the modern world. Though the arrival of Europeans brought waves of disruption through disease, colonization, and cultural suppression, the enduring Polynesian spirit refused to fade. Within the oral histories, chants, and ancestral knowledge, carefully preserved by elders, seeds of strength and identity lay waiting. These living memories became powerful sources of inspiration for new generations seeking to reclaim their heritage. Across the Pacific, communities began to revive ancient navigation techniques, traditional arts, and sacred rituals once thought lost. Reconnecting with the wisdom of their ancestors, they sparked a cultural renaissance, restoring native languages, revitalizing hula and other dances, and once again launching voyaging canoes guided by the stars. This cultural renewal is more than remembrance. It is a dynamic expression of survival and pride. It honors the past while forging a path forward, reaffirming the deep connection between people, place, and ocean, a testament to resilience and the unbreakable bond that unites the Polynesian world.